Yeah, from the redneck girls like me. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I said hell yeah.
Real country.
Now in the Kingston area on 92.5 FM.
Have a little love on a little honeymoon. You got a little dish and you got a little spoon. A little bitty house and a little bitty yard. A little bitty dog and a little bitty car. But it's alright to be a little bitty in a little hometown or a big old city. Might as well share, might as well smile. Life goes on for a little bitty while. A little bitty baby in a little bitty gown. It'll grow up in a little bitty town. A big yellow bus and little bitty books. It all started with a little bitty look. Well, it's alright to be a little bitty in a little hometown or a big old city. Might as well share, might as well smile. Life goes on for a little bitty while. You got a job and a little bitty check, a six-pack of beer and a television set. Little bitty world goes around and around. Little bit of silence and a little bit of sound. A good old boy and a pretty little girl start all over in a little bitty world. Little bitty plan and a little bitty dream. It's all part of a little bitty scheme. It's alright to be a little bitty in a little hometown or a big old city. Might as well share, might as well smile. Life goes on for a little bitty while. It's alright.
1260 WBNR Beacon, 1420 WLNA Peekskill, 920 AM and 92.5 FM W2
Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92 and AM 920. WGHQ, Kingston, New York. On this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community. Encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you, and mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, 82 John Street, Kingston, New York, 12401. For more information, or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. Good morning, and this is Dan Gatus. Thank you for tuning in and being early birds like us, being a part of this morning's program on Wednesday, November 14th. Did I say 14th? November is halfway through. 34 degrees here at 7:01 a.m. And the weather and forecast for Kingston and the surrounding area is a little surprising. Snow showers this morning, as there were flurries last night. Peaks of sunshine later, high 36. Winds northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour, and chance of snow is 50%. Tonight, some clouds, low 23. And Thursday, cloudy with snow developing during the afternoon, high 32. Chance of snow is 80%, 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. And Thursday night, snow in the evening will give way to a mixture of rain and snow overnight. Some sleet or freezing rain possible, low 27 degrees. Chance of precipitation on Thursday night, 100%. And Friday, rain afternoon, high 44. Chance of rain is 100% for Friday.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
What's one of your favorite memories?
That's a tough question. Well, there was this one time I went camping with my parents in a forest back when I was maybe like 8 or 9. And I can remember one night we were laying out in our hammocks and we were just watching the trees rustling in the wind above us, and we could hear the sounds of the forest all around us. Frogs singing and owls calling and the creek running nearby. It was amazing. It felt like we were a part of it all. I don't know if I do it justice trying to describe it, but I'll definitely never forget it.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget, so more memories can be made for generations to come. .org.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
You're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, 920 on your AM dial and 92.5 FM, and stream online at mykcr.org or Kingston Community Radio. KCR Radio right now. How you doing, gentlemen? How are you?
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Dan.
Supervisor Woodstock.
Good morning, Bill.
And we are expecting Supervisor from Sorgady's, Fred Costello. Morning, listeners. 331-9255. And just as a reminder, even though we had our WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund radio, Lawrence just reported to me this morning, close to $30,000 is $50,000. And you have right up until Christmas to make your pledges, to send your checks in, 12401. There's no amount that is too small, because obviously a lot of small amounts accumulate to big amounts, and in this case, almost 30,000. And to all of our listeners who did call in and make pledges, send checks in, stop by Boyce Dairy Milk House last Thursday, thank you very, very much. And to those who called and made pledges between 11:30 and 12 when Fred Costello, Bob Circus, half hour. I don't think more than a minute went by where the phone did not ring. And, of course, thank you to all those who were not able to call in, but great, awesome start. And here today, Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah.
I heard Dan Gatis said, did I just say November 14th? We're halfway through November.
Yeah.
That is
flying by.
That is kind of uncanny.
Yes. Good. It is amazing. And, boy, you don't know where.
Facing the first real snow of the season the next day or two.
Yeah, they're talking a couple sloppy inches, but up where you inches, and then it could be 6 inches up on the higher elevation.
Over the weekend, then I see it's supposed to be back up to around 40, 42. So.
Yeah, I saw mid-40s on Saturday, and I think low 40s on Sunday.
Yeah.
It won't hang on the ground. It's just way too warm.
No.
Too bad the event didn't occur during the daytime,
right?
Where even though you do have an overcast, you still have radiant heat coming through those clouds.
Although I don't know, with this cold wind today, that ground might be pretty frozen by tomorrow. So it is coming upon us quickly. Last week, I think we were talking about the beautiful sunrise and how nice it was.
Yes, yes, we were. Yes, how things. Well, that's weather in the Great Northeast. What do they say? Wait a day, wait an hour, and it'll change.
If you don't like it, wait.
Yeah, and it will change.
It was interesting. A week or so ago, the city of Kingston, the water department came up and gave a little tour of the water system. And not that they're in the process of doing anything about it, but a smart idea to raise the dam. Talking about doing this up at Cooper Lake is because of these extreme swings. And that we're getting the similar amount of rain throughout the year, but in fewer, more violent storms. And that'll give them the ability to catch more rain from each event, catch more water, and stockpile it during those dry periods.
I don't know how many times I've been out to our Sorgady's Reservoir in Blue Mountain, and we're so very fortunate and blessed to have reservoirs that are fed by God knows how many springs. And then, of course, the runoff times when we've been in a drought and there's drizzlies all over the place. there's still water trickling over that dam.
So you've never seen an instance where it actually stopped, or infrequently?
I personally know real bad year that we had the real bad drought. I want to say 2000 or 2001. Supposedly then it did stop going over the over the banks. Intended from Sorgetes. Mike Hoff, who Joe had been there for ages, probably before. Mike is just doing an awesome job, a great job. And currently, there was a situation with a couple of homeowners down on Beers Lane, which branches off as you're going up towards Market Street and onto Canoe Hill, where the water line that was put in, I don't know how many years ago, was just a small 3/4 or 1 inch.
Right.
So I imagine over time the inner wall corroded, where that inner diameter was probably down to maybe a 1/2 inch or less. And they're experiencing water supply issues, both with volume and with pressure. And at the same time, there was a fire hydrant a little bit further down, and you open that up. Yeah. So 2 items are being addressed, and it was quite a process to get it all unfolded. But a week ago, Monday, they're coming through the west side of and Mike has overseen that. It was very, very challenging for them because the water table was so high.
Right.
And where they
it's been a curse this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have it in your profile. The north end has got this real sandy loam, which is awesome. The water percolates down through. I mean, the fields drain real well. 52 inches thereabouts, it becomes a quicksand material.
Right.
So everything just starts caving in. And of course, off the stub, off the 8-inch main, it was quite challenging.
We do have some sandy, a lot of stone in it, but then you eventually reach that clay level and it becomes a quagmire.
Yeah.
I know we're replacing a culvert in one of the roads up in Shady, and it was the same thing. They got down a certain depth, and they got into what seemed like paste. And they had to quickly make a redesign and bring in a new foundation system. So it can be frustrating. I was going to say before, though, great minds think alike. You mentioned bringing in the water, our water department. Last night, we were getting ready to go to bed, and I was talking with my wife, and was thinking that, once in a while it might be a nice idea to get to, discuss what they do in a day. People get their tax bill once a year, and I think sometimes they don't fully appreciate or understand what they're getting for it. It's easy to say, what am I getting? Oh, there's a police car drives by once in a while.
Right, yeah.
But there really is a lot more to it.
There's a lot more, especially in this day and age, with making all attempts to save taxpayer dollars, to reduce budgets without the reduction services. And I think a lot of that is what, and this is not being critical of the public, but they have busy lives. They have their jobs in the scenes, all right, with some of these water line that I just talked to you about. There's four different municipal entities involved, agencies, okay? You've got the Village Water Department, you've got Village DPW, you've got the Highway Department now. They brought their larger excavator in, and also my department.
Right.
So there's 4 different departments within Sorgetes, and I don't give a crap whether it's village or town. I say this all the time. I don't care whether it's village, town, county, state, federal. It's all the same wallet. It's all the same pocketbook.
Right.
It comes from the same source, and when you can work together jointly, pay your dollars, it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
All the way. All
water line break last week, or at the end of last week, and we have a small water department, water and sewer. It's only three gentlemen in there, and so they rely on other departments. They rely on the highway department, they all work great.
Yeah,
they all come in. They know what they need to do, and they get it done. So it's good cooperation.
Good morning, Fred Costello.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Very well.
You?
Doing really well.
So you still got the shorts on?
Yes. I'm going to fight it as long as I can. So far, so good.
Let me know how you do tomorrow. No, actually, it's Friday. I think it's
I was
the messy one.
I was 5 minutes out, and I get a call. I was on the phone actually with Keith, and I said to Keith, "Oh no, I better take this one. It's the boss." And it was a little bit of a hesitancy whether he's going to.
I'm glad to be here. And
glad you are here.
Chilly. Saw a couple of puddles of ice on top.
It's 34. I didn't observe the temperature when I got to Kingston. Lauren's the coldest is when the temperature drops, and this just amplifies the cooling effect.
There's a small pond, a drainage pond by the traffic circle, and I saw the ice in that.
No fooling.
Yep.
Wow.
Little
middle
thin.
there?
Yeah. Oh no, to the right side as you're headed east. I saw a little bit of ice in there with the cattails.
You know, I wasn't paying attention
Yeah.
to there.
Wow, that's surprising considering how warm the
ground is.
The ground still is. Yeah, it was
pretty cold.
It was very cold.
Yeah,
it was very cold.
Dan, I was listening coming in, and we're mid-November.
Yeah, we're
hard to believe.
Yeah. It is hard to believe. A week from today is Thanksgiving Eve, and we all know that period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, Thanksgiving and New Year, sitting here, and it'll be January the 2nd. Fine, correctly, yeah, because Christmas and New Year's are both on Tuesday. You sit and say, where did the holidays go? Right. We were just talking. Yeah. We were in mid-November.
It's pretty crazy.
And Fred, I see you got your budget passed.
We did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's one of the earliest.
Everybody worked really hard on it. You were part of it. Chief was part of it. Department heads, and mid-September we've been working on it.
The budget is a year-long process.
Yeah. So, do you meet with the department heads in public? Do you have meetings for that?
Generally, at one of our monthly meetings, the department heads, not all of them, but Greg always comes and represents the parks and the buildings. On occasions, and different assessor will come in and give us a report.
I think he's talking about with the budget,
specifically with budget hearings.
Generally, we do a public hearing for that.
Right.
There's some public discussion. Most of it happened the liaison to whatever department it is, and those discussions are and our accountant and bookkeeper, and just to make sure everybody's on the same page, that the requests are justified, and go through that in a meaningful way, so for spending why they were what they were. And one thing that this budget does that I'm particularly proud of, and I'm sure you guys had to do this too, during the financial crisis, you had to borrow money, and we did that through the financial crisis, doing a tougher tax increase at the time than we did.
Right.
And this budget pays back 2.5 years of that borrowing.
Okay.
So I'm proud of that, because
Kingston did the same thing, I think, this year.
So
you done with that, or you still have a little bit more?
We still have a little bit more. But
2.5 years is a nice chunk.
It's a nice chunk, yeah. And the half comes in. The police department represents one of the largest blocks of employees, and we couldn't pay off the entire. I'm going to mix up the years, but I think it was 2013 in one swoop.
Okay. That's
a substantial reduction in our obligations moving forward, and that'll kind of help us next year, hopefully.
Right. Good.
But and another thing this year, oddly, and this is absurd, 12, and it came in at 7.9.
Well, 10 or 11. But we thought it was going to be much higher.
That's why I said it's absurd. Right. You know, these increases, and the dollar amounts with these are substantial.
Right.
You know, over $100,000 of an increase. Right. But you're like, yay, because it's not $250,000. But
small consolation.
Oh my God. And you know, another phenomenon, when things are tight, you know, the job market's pretty strong right now. So families have opportunities for health care beyond what's available to them as town employees. You know, maybe a spouse works for another employer who offers a better plan. When the market was tight and the financial crisis hit and it's full, those healthcare opportunities went away for the private employers.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had people, even though we were not taking plans, who are entitled to plans, taking plans.
Right.
Out to a $23,000 family plan.
That's
a
big
pretty
jump.
substantial change.
Yeah.
But we didn't experience any of that this year either. So,
you
guys must be close to done on yours.
We adopted ours Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, good.
We're done too.
Yeah, it's kind of like a relief.
Oh, yes. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
We got some announcements here, and we're down to 9-10 minutes.
So all seniors are welcome. It will take place at the John A. Coleman. There will be 2 sittings, one at 11:30 and one at 1 p.m. It'll be limited seating, 300 meals. Mary Stratzer at 845-336-5959. And bus transportation could be available, and you can
an announcement for Uptown Kingston Dazzles Lake Festival. The annual event begins at 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. and is hosted in conjunction with the Senate House Festival of Lights. The festivals bring together dazzling displays of holiday-themed entertainment, decoration, and a warm up to the festival. Classic Victorian carols will ring and cheer through the streets of Uptown starting at 4 p.m. Treats and warm beverages. Visitors are encouraged to experience and filled with live entertainers, including musicians, horse-drawn carriages, fire torch jugglers, clowns, ice sculptors, and much more. So this is a really nice event.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sorgady's VFW Post 5034. Wreaths Across America. Remember the fallen. They will be departing from the Mosier Drive, the Cantine Complex, at around 9 a.m. with a return of about 5 p.m. They're going to have a cash lunch stop, $15 per person. And it's also, if you contact Bob Howe at 845-246-8510. And if you want to drop it, 5034, P.O. Box 152. Don't say I should have, say I did.
One of the local folks who's been involved with that for a number of years, Kevin, is going to Long Island for that. And Roger Donald is going to be a keynote speaker at one of those events.
Oh, very nice.
You have to have to Roger. He travels a lot.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah. He still has family in Sorgady's,
Okay,
so
yeah.
he obviously he maintains a really active stadium.
So the train show continues at the Kingston Model Railroad Club. The event will run on November 17th and 18th, 24th and 25th, and December 1st and 2nd. Hours are between 12 and 5 p.m. The club is located on Susan Street and behind the YMCA. There are a number of new changes to the train board this year. For more information, you can call 845-334-8233. Admission is $6 for adults and $2 for children.
I kind of want to go to that. I do.
You know what?
Haven't
It
done
sounds like
in
it's,
years.
it sounds like it'd be a good year to go, Fred. Lots of new changes, new scenery, updated towns and structures. So it'll be something new and different from last year.
Fundraiser for Donna Boyce, who worked for Anderson Center for Autism for more than a decade, devoted member of St. John the Evangelist Church, and most importantly is so loved by her family and friends. She was recently diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. So now this benefit is being held to offset the monumental cost anyone endures, even with insurance, to fight this terrible, terrible disease. It takes place November 24th, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Elks Lodge on Band, and also Second Wind. So please join us in supporting Donna. There's going to be great food, the live music, raffles, prizes, and more.
It's tomorrow. The meeting will take place on Hall Drive in Lake Katrina, New York. Refreshments are served at 12:30 p.m. The meeting starts at 1. This will be our annual election of officers for the coming year. Be sure to attend to select new officers for 2019. Your participation is our time for friendship, socialization, and sharing of ideas. New members are always welcome. Following our meetings, those who wish to stay may play bingo. And if you have questions, call Paula Strong at 389-0015.
Okay, and I have another one here. The Kingston High School will be doing a fundraiser. Note here says you can be seen on TV, so I guess there'll be games, prizes, singing, dancing, attractions, family fun. Grand prize will be a T-Rex dune buggy. Actually, that looks like a pretty good dune buggy, Fred.
Yeah, because of fun with that, get in trouble.
Yeah, get in trouble is right. The event will be held Sunday, November 25th. The doors open at 5 and the event runs through 8 p.m. Oh, no, excuse me. The doors open at 4. The event runs from 5 to 8. And it's $10 at the door. Sounds like an interesting fundraiser.
About that. And we got doubleheader event this Friday evening. The Sorgady's Lions Club will be holding at 6 p.m. at the at the Glasgow Firehouse. It's a major fundraising endeavor for the Sorgady's things that the Lions have contributed to. So it's Fran or Al Carney or any Lions member. I'm sure there are still tickets available. And again, that's the Sorgady's Lions Club auction this Friday, starting at 6 p.m. at the Glasgow Firehouse. And then the following evening, we've got Sawyer Motors, who's doing their Sorgady's High School benefit, Sorgady's High School Auditorium. Again, this Saturday, November. Last I heard, they were very close to selling out. But if you still want to go, get a hold of Bob Circasano. I do have to give Bob Circasano a call. Stop by or so to contact me. Great evening for a great cause.
Sounds like fun. And, you know, I saw the ad for that in the newspaper. The two singers actually look very, it's very realistic.
Yeah,
it's
they're
dead
true.
on.
And you know what?
True to
look how he timed this, okay? And I even got about 12 seconds to tell our listeners after we come back from the break. We've got... I know we had somebody walked in from the sheriff's department. He was hiding behind the glass and the glare. I couldn't tell who it is, so I can't mention who.
Surprise guest.
I guess it's
we're all going to be surprised.
I guess it's a surprise guest. He's hiding out there. And then at 8 o'clock is Assemblyman.
Yes.
Of sunshine later, high 36 degrees, chance of snow 50%. Tonight, some clouds, low 23 degrees. Thursday, cloudy with snow developing during the afternoon, high 32 degrees. Chance of snow is 80% for Thursday, 1 to 3 inches of snow expected. Thursday night, snow in the evening will give way to a mixture of rain and snow, accumulating 3 to 5 inches. Rain ending early and breaks of sun in the afternoon, high 44 degrees. Chance of rain for Friday is 100%. We'll be back after these messages.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom.
It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty. Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Happy Christmas Fund with a contribution so the fund can buy. Please mail your tax-deductible donation to WGHQ, John Street, Kingston, New York, 12401, and thank you.
And you're here with us at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. 7:33 a.m., 35 degrees on this Wednesday, November 14th. This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank, and visit their newest branch conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community and invested. Talk Radio, 33192 to the on-air studio. We're going to return back with Greg Shorvis, Bill McKenna, and Freddie Costello, and our new guest. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dan Gatis, and welcome back, listeners. And for those just joining us in this half hour, 331-9255 is our call-in number. We have First Sergeant Al Rao from the Ulster County Sheriff's Department. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And across from me is Bill McKenna, Woodstock Town Supervisor. And to my right is Fred Costello for those who are streaming and watching us Supervisor from the town of Saugerties. 331-9255. So if you got a question, a concern for the First Sergeant here, the Sheriff's Department, or anything in general, please, we'd love to hear from you. It is a call-in talk show, 331-9255.
Good morning, Al. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good to see you. Did no bad weather stuff last night, right? There was some posts on Facebook. There was
no nothing that I'm aware of yet.
Good.
No.
Good. Wait till about April to get the first one. And
well, they're saying maybe tomorrow.
I know.
We'll see tomorrow night.
Wishful thinking. I wore shorts today.
Yeah. Well, good for you. That's positive thinking. I hope that worked for you.
Yeah. That was his effort.
I also saw plows and salters being put on the trucks too. So
I ignore them.
Let me know how that works out for you, Fred.
I'm happy until the reality hits.
Yeah.
Right.
And then not so much.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. What's going on?
It's done and get things started for the new year. Get plans set and put things in motion.
Any major changes with the budget, or pretty consistent?
No, I think we're pretty consistent throughout.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The road patrol is, second to none. We like working with everybody in the county. That we've been fortunate out there as a professional and likes to do their job.
You have so there'd be 3 shifts a day.
3 shifts a day. Yes.
Do you? So how many cars would you have out on the road for?
It depends on the shift, usually between 4 and 6.
Okay, so it varies.
Yep, varies, yep. Days off, things like that.
Right, okay. And more in the evening?
Days 4 to 12.
Okay.
Yep.
You were just mentioning about joint cooperation among all the law enforcement entities, and no matter who we have on from what agency, whether it be a local police department in Ulster County, the Sheriff's Department, the state police, there's quite a uniqueness, I think, here in Ulster County.
It is unique. Throughout the state, we've worked all over the state, and you don't see relationships like this in other counties, and we're very fortunate to have that. And that's taking the work from the top down. The bosses, the sheriff, chiefs, captains for the state police, we all get together and work, and there is no, and we need to work together. There's never enough of us when you need us, and when we have to go there, we just have to be able to do our job.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also important too, as time has gone on, there's obviously more and more emphasis. Not that there wasn't prior with saving taxpayer dollars, budget cuts, et cetera. The importance of shared services, and in my position, everybody that comes together and the number of entities and the number of law enforcement entities, example, not just the sheriffs, not just the Saugerties police, not just the state police. We've got police from DEP, DEC. So I truly believe, just in over all the years, back to Pat Regan, that we're assigned in other parts of the state. They personally see what happens in those other parts of the state, et cetera, and then come to Ulster County. I say it with very little hesitation. I think there is a uniqueness.
There is, definitely.
There is. Along that, you guys are 2019 might be the year where we implement the new management software. That's a big project.
Yes,
around
big
the sheriff's
project.
office,
Yep.
and that
that's been a
transcends
big ongoing.
Yeah.
Yep. So getting ready to do that, it should be taking place, I believe, right near the first of the year. There's implementing a lot of training. Everybody's got to get brought up to speed, and not just the sheriff's office, but every agency throughout every police agency throughout the county.
Too.
So the county, county different offices. It's yeah. Lieutenant Soul's been in.
This is a multi-year project.
Oh, it's been ongoing. I'm sure there's going to be kinks and bugs, but that's why they're doing
and there
such
will
great
be
work
for a
on
while.
it.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's
computers. Getting used to the team have really, pushed a lot to make sure that there's no problems with it. It's a lot of credit for that.
That's just going to bring all the departments
to help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a great tool for all of us. Everybody's looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's when they put that much effort into something, planning it, it's fun to finally get there.
Yep.
And
really glad to see that it was being pushed, and I think
amongst local law groups
yes
too.
Yep.
I think it presents some challenges too. I think Saugerties uses a different software, and the database that you guys are going to have is going to be so valuable, and that will transcend town boundaries. And if I'm having a problem in Warsing and you pull me over in Kingston, it's likely that problem will show.
It's going to pop up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the value of that is obvious, but it doesn't necessarily happen right now.
No, not through all, but now
Yeah.
every agency will be doing that, and it's going to be really a useful tool for everybody.
Absolutely. Interesting process. You also have another communications project in the brew as well for the radios. That comes and goes a little bit. That's not quite as mature, but that's going to be a big
push.
That's the big push.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's really front page. Takes a lot of time, so that's where everybody's effort is directed right now.
I know in Woodstock too, the radio and low band repeaters, antennas.
I think this has been
been
well,
longer
you
than
know
that.
what?
Since they gave up the tin can and the string.
Hey, you remember 5 or 6 years ago? And they said, Greg, what's the matter with you? That was 10 years ago. So it's probably been 10 or 12. I remember when it first surfaced at a fire district meeting, or the commissioners. And
I did something like that the other day. I was Ellen for quite some time. I said, 3 or 4 years ago. And then I corrected myself. It's probably more like 10 or 15 years ago.
It does go quick, and
It does.
your memories get muddled together.
It does.
it just, well, you look at this year. I mean,
This year is bizarre.
can you just believe?
No.
We're just about halfway through the 11th month of the year.
No.
Seemed like we were just turning the calendar from 17 to 18.
Agreed.
Right.
Boy.
I was thinking while we were sitting here talking about the cooperation, and one of the, I'm just wondering if this helps or feeds into this, and does it make us unique? But I can think of about 3 young employees, and he lamented that the state police do the same thing to him. So there's just that, continuation. So we have these Woodstock cops, police officers that are now sheriff's deputies. That alone is helping to.
Well, that helps. And some people like to go to one department, say for something bigger and better or a little more action, and you get to share and see where you've been. And we're pretty fortunate in the county. We have a lot of good police officers in every agency.
Absolutely.
And we've been pretty lucky to get some of them to come work with us. So
and Clayton used to get really upset about this because he'd take a young person, he'd give him an opportunity, and we'd get 3 or 4 years. And I would say, Clayton, we're getting 2 or 3, 4 years. We're passing them on. Now the entire county gets the benefit. We're bringing in now new blood to work with. That's great, and half of them come through and move on. And I think it's
guys, and when they feel that they, are looking for something, a little bigger responsibility, they start to move on.
Right. But again, the 3 that come to my mind, I see them in town all the time. So they're still coming through. They're still working
Driving through,
Woodstock. We're all getting the benefit from it.
So, Bill, I got a great idea for you.
Okay.
We got a new sheriff coming in the first of the year.
Yes.
Why don't you and Fred to get together at one of the town supervisors association meetings?
Okay.
Okay. You spend all this money, you spend all this time, and time is money to train these new officers. Then the sheriff pulls them away from you. You want to back charge him for the cost of training.
There you go. It was a shared service agreement.
Shared service,
I see that bill getting lost in the mail.
Yeah. Actually, there might be something to that, though.
See, with the new sheriff, you'd never be able to pull it over with Paul.
Yeah.
You're talking about the balance between the older folks and younger on the job, but that energy could get them in trouble. So you need that balance. Hey, this is not how we do it. This is a better way, and you represent the agency and the taxpayers, and you don't want to get them in a bad position.
Fred, though, that the same could be said about councilmen who go on to be back once in a while.
It's true.
That's Jeremy. They knew when to yank back.
Yeah, I got called upstairs a couple times.
As did I.
Yeah. But it happens, You come in, you have this interesting perspective and this energy, and you just look for every opportunity to expend it. And sometimes you're getting on a bouncy road, and you need somebody with the right position to say, "Hey, you're headed in a bad direction. This is where you want to be," and kind of show you the end before you get there.
Nothing like experience, and as they say, experience it firsthand. You need.
One of the best lessons is you have to, and I got this from my dad, and I also got this from Greg. You need to keep an open mind, and you learn every day.
Absolutely.
The minute you think you have all the answers, you're going to get yourself in big trouble.
Yeah, you never have all the answers.
That's with every job.
Yeah.
You never have all the answers.
Yep.
Jeremy had
always
a
say that.
great way of doing it, though. I remember, I don't even remember the details, but I remember him saying, so somebody was trying to get me to do this. A couple of people had suggested I do this, whatever it was. And Jeremy, we come face to face, and I said, "Are you going to tell me what to do now?" And he says, "Bill, I would never tell you what to do. I'll only make a suggestion." And I did whatever he suggested. So he just had a way about
They had a
him.
way of being persuasive.
Yeah.
But they're, having people you trust that are giving you good advice is really important. And, sometimes we get caught up in whatever we're thinking about and we just can't see past not necessarily just the one component.
Again, it's good. I said this to a councilman, a young councilman last night. It's good to have that balance of, somebody going 90 miles an hour and somebody just holding them back a little bit. Same with the police.
Yep,
Same with the deputies.
And our training, your training never ends, and they get a lot for their training program when they first come out of the academy, and that's what that's there for, to not only learn how to do your job, but learn from the senior guys, and if they need to pull the reins in a little bit, that's
Right.
why they're there. Then you get
good stuff. The other thing I noticed too, when there's sometimes people work at angle, but they've exhausted their opportunity to express that to the current board members. So when new folks come in, they go right back at them and they're like, "I need this done, and this is it, and so, and then you're like, "Okay, we've dealt with this one before
For 10 years."
Yeah, it's a neighbor dispute, and this is ongoing. And
every time a new member comes on, I see some of those old
back. Yeah, it's it's somewhat comical, but
yes.
there are pitfalls to that. Folks that generally hold the public position, you want to help people. That's why you did it in the first place. So you get this call and you want to be productive, and it was proven to be a bad idea many times ago.
That's a lesson for us, though. We should be documenting this history.
I know.
So you can just
go see the town clerk and get a stack of minutes. This high.
Well, and actually, I do that a lot. Where I'll say an issue will come up, and I'll say, "Look, go talk to so and so here 20, 25, 30 years." And get a history lesson on this issue, and it does help simmer things down.
It does.
That's for sure.
Actually, that's a good one. When I was relatively brand new, I got this call, and I'm like, "Well, this seems." The minute I brought it to you, he goes, "Oh, so and so called you. Yeah, here's the background on that." And I'm like, "Oh, so it's not as easy as it looks." Right? Yeah.
Yes.
That many law enforcement issues come up that way as well.
Right.
There's some long-standing hotspots, so to speak, and there's legacies with them.
And
I
I think that's probably true of any elected official.
I'm sure.
Within the sheriff's race, where you've got the new opponent makes all kinds of promises until you get there. It's history of it, and the good people, you get in there, you start the job, and you realize, okay, this wasn't the case, or this isn't the case, and this works, and that doesn't work, and it all settles down.
That's true. I think one thing that the new sheriff does have coming is you guys have a relatively deep bench.
Yes.
You have a lot of talented people, many folks that have spent many years there.
We're really, 20 years, 24 years. So it's a lot of professionalism. Everybody's looking forward to seeing, what's going to be happening, and just ready to go to work and keep doing the job they're doing. So.
Well, one program that I hope continues, and this is the work release program. No, it wasn't Mike?
No, it was. I can't remember. That's been going on a while. It might have been. I thought it might have been Sheriff and Blarkin, but it might have been Sheriff Bockelman.
Okay,
but it wasn't Sheriff Paglia.
Okay, it wasn't that far.
No, it wasn't that far back. Definitely.
That is a great program.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing program. They do a lot of work that well.
And Greg was talking about the prisoners and how respectful they are.
He leads well by example, and I know many times, especially afterwards, my staff is working right with them. They enjoy working with them. They'll have lunch together, and it's a tremendous help. There's on their own or with my other staff wouldn't have been accomplished. The grandstand building, that entire thing spent almost 2 weeks on repainting that and getting it prepped. But and yesterday
it would actually be a program that'd be good to see expanded even.
Yeah. Well, at one time. And I guess this was a result of budget cuts, and it was out of Sheriff and Blarkin's hands. It was, I guess, the legislature. They used to go 7 days a week, as you know. There was, I can't think of the individual's name that last did it on Saturday, Sunday, because we obviously do a lot of work in the buildings when they're closed on Saturdays and Sundays, and many times they were, right alongside of us. He gives a call yesterday. to Keith, my one of my assistants, and so I'm looking for a dry and warm place to test all these. He's at Seaman Park doing the Christmas decorating with Kiwanis Club members. But as soon as it stopped raining, on the trailer it went. Boom! And they took right off. In fact, I think it was still drizzling a little bit. But what a great program, and hopefully that continues. And because now I think right now, if Vinny takes vacation, they don't go out. There's not a fallback guy.
I know that the weekends are no longer being done.
Right,
I don't know about his vacation. Sometimes they'll schedule somebody. Depends if
Sure. The oar cross with the
boat operator.
Boat
Navigation
operator.
unit.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I think that's we don't have that in Stargate. So that's the first time. I noticed that badge.
Yep. That's for our navigation team.
Okay.
But yet
I said Joe.
Joe is
Joe's
he is an amazing boat operator. If you haven't seen him operate some of our boats, you should.
He's well respected by not just law
up and down the
enforcement,
river,
but the fire services that work
yep.
with him.
He does a lot of training with the fire agencies, and up and down the river he's known statewide.
How many boats does the department have?
We have 2 that are in the river, and then we have 2 other rescue boats.
Okay.
Inflatables.
Mm-hmm.
I saw our Glasgow Fire Department has a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Joe
Correct.
went out there to do a training with them, and they boarded a barge and transport.
Yep.
And the video the guys came back with, I was blown away because you actually pull up to the barge and you power the rescue boat into the back of it to make her up the side. And I'm just watching. I'm like, oh my god,
Yep.
this violates every. But they
OSHA regulation.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah, and that's just how we do a boarding, you know.
Mhm.
So it takes,
you've obviously
takes a
done
lot
it
to
as
be
well,
it
then.
takes a
Yeah.
lot to be able to do that. You got to really
You
trust your
can't have a
instincts.
fear. You just
and
gotta
then
go
once
in there and
once
make
you
it
get
happen.
make that contact, you just got to have to hold it.
And
So it's a constant
feel
pressure
confident
to keep
that
everything
pressure
yep.
in there.
Yep.
And you also have to resist the turbulence from the tugboat.
Right.
Also impacts your
We've
instincts
we've
as well.
done
You
we've
have to
done a lot.
overcome
Joe
all-
has done a lot of training that way. He started some things here that we wanted to do with some of the emergency response team, doing some trainings on the water, with boardings and things like that. And we were one of the first ones up and down the river that we knew of that were doing that. And we had other agencies come to us that we've brought with us on our training that we want to do that, but we've never done it.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate. Joe knew it could be done, and hey, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah, that is Joe, and very my life, and we're members of the same Malden West Camp Fire Company, and you mentioned about an excellent boat operator. When our engineers a few years ago, early on with the Bristol Beach acquisition, they wanted to view the shoreline and get in from the shoreline.
Yep.
So, Greg Elsmore and I were discussing, about a boat. Well, I know who I think could have a boat. Joke. And in between those rocks, he went, and you're looking down and you see these boulders, and next thing you know, but I'll tell you what, just navigated that thing. Training that he that he does a couple times a year at
Swiftwater, the Swiftwater and Water Rescue Team.
Do you do that as well?
No, I don't. I oversee budgeting and things like that. Every guy on there is a true professional, and the ice thing is takes a lot of talent to be able to get as much as they can, because it's a dangerous thing, Sure. If somebody,
it's tremendous. Well, we talked about that earlier. Experience, getting your feet wet, being able to stick at something, as you mentioned, sooner or later, he'll get it. Good example, when there's winters that it's not so cold, there's not ice on the river, or it's unsafe. He's at the ice arena in the morning with the crew. Ice.
They'll prepare. They prepared for
training.
3 days for swift water rains. We've had a lot of rain this year. The streams get swollen. A lot of fast moving water. So they trained for that about a month ago, and they'll start going to the ice arena.
You're going into a dangerous situation, obviously, trying to rescue someone.
Yep.
And the only thing that would make that worse is if the rescuers get in trouble as well.
And that way, when the call comes, they're ready. And that's the way it is with all of our teams.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate to have that support with the sheriff, and I'm sure we'll have that support with the new sheriff as well, because the teams are here to help everyone in the county.
We are out of time. That half hour flew by, but return.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Bill McKenna and Freddie Costello, and a special thanks to First Sergeant Al Rowe. And that is Ulster County Sheriff's Department. 92.5 FM. The time is now 8 o'clock a.m., Wednesday, November 14th, and 36 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. The last portion of Kingston Community Savings Bank in Ulster County that still remains local to this day. Ulster Savings Bank is a community bank that's invested in local business, invested in community, and invested in you. Ulster Savings Bank, your one-stop resource for everything local. Member FDIC. Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast for Kingston and the surrounding areas. No showers this morning. Peaks of sunshine later. High 33 degrees. Thursday, cloudy with snow developing 2. Chance of snow is 80% for Thursday. 1 to 3 inches of snow expected. And Thursday night, snow in the evening will give way to a mixture of rain and snow overnight. Some sleet or chance of precipitation is 100%, and snow accumulating 3 to 5 inches, and that's over Thursday night. Friday, rain ending early. Breaks of sun in the afternoon.
Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
We all come together and stand together.
We take the time to train the next generation together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Did you know breast cancer kills 113 people every day?
That's unacceptable.
African American women die from breast cancer, nearly 41% more than Caucasian women.
That's unacceptable.
Cancer deaths for Hispanic women.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Together with Susan G. Komen, we're committed to reducing U.S. breast cancer deaths by half.
And we're going to do it by 2026. Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
This is Tony Marmo. Many families in our area will not have a happy holiday, and the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund will help them. We are asking for your contribution to purchase children's clothes, toys, and food for seniors. You can drop off your contribution at the Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House on O'Neill Street in Kingston. Thank you so much.
You're listening to GHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the 8:04 a.m. this Wednesday, November 14th, and 36 degrees outside. This segment of Kingston Exceptional Healthcare, close to home, their Marys Avenue campus is home to the Center for Breast Health. The center is the first program of its kind for adhering to national standards of quality and disease of the Hudson Valley. Healthy starts here. Again, you're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM. Wednesday, November 14th, 36 degrees outside. Our call-in line is 331-9255. And let's get back with Greg, Freddie, and Vokes.
And speaking of live mics, we are now live. Thank you, Dan Gatis. Welcome back, listeners. 331-9255. For those just joining us here, I got in the studio Supervisor Bill McKenna from Woodstock, Supervisor Fred Costello. Morning, Kevin. How are you, sir?
Kevin,
how are you?
Today's date is
14th.
Every day in November, I have a relative with a birthday, and if it was the 15th, I would wish Liz a happy birthday.
But it's not the 15th.
I kind of just did that earlier.
Or the 11th, I would have wished. Here, let me get this dog off of you.
Yeah.
At the 11th, I would have wished my brother Terry a happy birthday. The 2nd, my sister-in-law.
That's a good month
her
for
nieces,
cake right
nephews.
I hope you don't. I hope you don't eat cow pie or birthday cake.
Do I
or
look
ice
like
cream
I eat
cake?
birthday cake every single day? Dan, I skipped dessert last night.
Okay, good for
So,
you.
being we're on birthdays, would you like to lead us off? We've got 3 of them here today. I know you've already put them in the jug, but we're going to read them and then.
Well, this one comes from the Friends of Town of Ulster Senior Club, and it's a happy birthday to Evelyn.
And I have one here. Happy birthday to Fred over at Ulster County Volunteer Programs.
And I have a happy birthday to Nancy Griffith from Mary.
And today's winner of the famous cow pie from Boyce Dairy Milk House is Nancy Griffith. Congratulations, Nancy. Happy birthday, Nancy. Congratulations on your cow pie, courtesy of Boyce Dairy Milk House. And it's great. We've been on a roll where we've had multiple birthdays. Please continue to send in birthdays and also anniversaries. We don't get very many anniversaries, and I'm sure there's just as many out there. .com. You can snail mail to 82 John Street, Kingston, New York. Out of our studios here on John Street in Uptown Kingston. So again, congratulations, Nancy. You have yourself an awesome day. Enjoy your cow pie, and happy birthday again.
So,
for a note on my way out the door at my 6 o'clock meeting that I came home to a brand new read below capital letters. So I have a lot of notes.
Tell us.
Well, actually, the first thing on the list
He wants to put us out on the limb.
the first thing on the list is actually about a question I was going to put to you.
Okay.
And it was about the Woodstock Library referendum and the results of the referendum, which were, significantly against dissolving the board.
Dissolving, yes.
And I guess the question I have, and the question...
That's a good question. And you could probably ask 10 people and get 11 answers. I would have ability in making decisions. Personally, I would tend to believe that most of the people who voted yes, and there were about a level of maintaining the old building.
Correct, yeah. That was probably their key motivation. Nothing personal against the board members. It was more about the facility.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the 2000s.
Yeah, right.
They supported the board. They liked vote on a budget every year.
Right.
I think there was huge concern over the present employees and whether they would have their jobs come next November or January 1st. So I think that there were more reasons to vote no than yes.
So I think and we knew this was necessary based upon the tensions that were growing in the town. There needed to be a catharsis, and this vote was a catharsis.
Absolutely.
Were library votes, every one of them.
Correct.
Every person who voted cared about the library.
Right,
yeah, I definitely. Listen, there could have been 5 people, 5 old tax cranks. Who,
after my last birthday.
Now, do you think worded? I know there was a lot of confusion. I'm saying, wait a minute now. What
I think people are still confused.
Are they?
I'm sure there are a bunch of people you could ask, did you want the district? And they said, they wouldn't know how to vote properly.
Right.
I'm still hearing some of that.
But hopefully now moving forward, both sides can work together efficiently and cooperatively.
I'm thinking of our experience at Sargaty's with the library vote. It was
budget vote or was a creating district vote?
We already had the district established. How to locate the library, where to locate the library were. They were all hotly publicly debated every step of the way.
Greg brings me to the second point that Gabby did homework on, and that is the clarity of ballot propositions. And she did some research on that, information about the entire ballot, including ballot propositions in advance from Long Island that would require ballot simplification. But the countywide prop was flipped over. You had to go in the back.
So was Woodstock.
And good for the poll workers. They informed everybody, but it takes it away. I understand in New York City, some of the ballots were 7 pages long.
Oh.
And, that slows down the line. That discourages voting. So we're hoping that Chuck's bill, the one that I'm a co-sponsor of, will simplify difficult to word the Woodstock Library proposition. Continue. Vote yes for the library. Should the library board be dissolved? One person or another is going to say that the yes or the no vote is deceptive. So the best thing that could happen was, I think they both had "Save Our Library" as their slogan.
Right. Yes.
Which
confused people even more.
A few years ago, there was, I can't remember the specific subject, state ballot propositions. There was an allegation that it was a loaded
question,
a loaded proposition. The voters to make an objective decision based upon.
I think I remember that, and I really had to read at great length.
But even when you have a caption that says the New York State beautification and tax saving, all of them were about libraries, and all of them succeeded. For the library, did so, and it was everything for. I'm sorry, in Shandaken, not Phoenicia. That's a different library. That's the Phoenicia. It's interesting. I have two.
Yes.
I have 2 towns with 2 libraries. And Phoenicia has a Morton Library and the Phoenicia Library, and Rhinebeck has the Morton Rhinecliff Library and the Star Library.
Libraries too?
Hurley has 2 libraries, absolutely, yeah. And Hurley was that they all passed. And they're modest budgets. Should we increase the budget in one case from $134,000 a year to $148,000 a year? I mean, that's a big jump, but
they vote on the special district library budget.
It's a separate vote,
right? And I think that they may choose to do it one way or the other. There's no obligation. I could be wrong about that. It could be in the initial authorizing legislation. I've done in the debate in Woodstock about could we form another library district and what would happen. And I explained to them that Governor Cuomo has refused to sign new library districts for the past several years.
He doesn't want.
Yeah.
He probably would have voted yes to do away with the district.
He probably would have, yes.
Why do we vote differently? I mean, why is there a separate day for the library?
It's a separate board. It's a separate district.
Others that where you said were on the ballot.
Because I think that the library decides. My mind was watching the Kingston Schools capital project, and that was a $135 million, give or take, budget proposition, and it took place the first week of December. I think the sides came out. There was a pretty hefty vote for a school capital project vote, all things considered. And it ended up prevailing, and they also did it off cycle. Amazing. The turnout was terrific. The turnout was almost everybody that could vote did vote, and it won overwhelmingly.
That's an interesting debate to have, though, because you could argue that if you did it on election day, especially this year with the cycle being what it was, would those types of
for doing it on election days that it's convenient for the voter. The argument against doing it on they just get lost in the balance.
We do have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
For that school, if you remember, there was also a blizzard that
local authorities. Kevin Kalis here, electioneering, and it became an annual. I wasn't electioneering. I'm a candidate. I have the right to inspect the polling place, but a poll watcher certificate that I keep with me for each polling place that I'm going to, and so it became an annual challenge. And one year, it was particularly testy, and I was walking with